And we are back. It has been a tough couple of days for Facebook. You have a whistleblower doing testimony on Capitol Hill. You have her previously doing an interview on 60 Minutes. There is a lot of pressure on the big tech company. We're going to get into that and so much more after this. Your man Dom McKay in here. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yours truly, Dom McKay in here. RadioOnFire.com, On Fire Television. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. As I said, Facebook on the hot seat today. We're going to talk about that. Here on the program, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with original reporting from across this country, emanating from our studios in Baltimore and Atlanta. Show is fun. The show is upbeat, but I also want to expose what is really going on in this country. Radio on Fire is Black voices giving you the American story, and it is a hell of a story. New episodes of the show drop Monday through Friday, 8 a.m., but I don't want you to miss any of our live broadcasts. In addition to the 8 a.m. show, we drop content throughout the day as news happens. Hit that notification bell so you get an alert whenever we go live. So I was mentioning a former Facebook employee. This lady right here, she is a data scientist. What does that mean? That means that she analyzes data. Okay. She analyzes data. And for almost 2 years, she worked at the big tech company, the conglomerate called Facebook. Of course, Facebook owns Instagram, WhatsApp, and the behemoth tech company. So this former data scientist at Facebook, her name is Frances Haugen. She was speaking at a hearing of the Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Subcommittee on Consumer Protection, Product Safety, and Data Security on Capitol Hill yesterday. So, I'm not going to say that she said anything that we hadn't heard before. Some people think that Facebook is in a historic crisis. I believe that this will pass. Why do I say that? All right. So there were revelations that she brought forth. She brought some things to light. Whistleblowers. That's such an interesting term, whistleblowers. So as I said, this testimony has led to what many think is the most threatening scandal in Facebook's history. Pressure is on. But is this pressure being placed in the right position? Is it being pointed at the right entity? What they're talking about Facebook doing, making girls feel bad about themselves, making teenagers feel bad, promoting what they say is misinformation. The ex-Facebook employee, she testified before this Senate subcommittee. She provided a clear and detailed glimpse into the notoriously secretive tech giant. But do we have to know how the sausage is made? Do we have to know this? She said that Facebook harms children. Facebook harms children, okay? What role did the parents play in this? What role? So are we going to just let everybody else off the hook? Everything that bad everything bad that happens, that's on Facebook. People believing garbage about the elections. Oh, that's on Facebook. People believing garbage about COVID-19. Oh, that's Facebook's fault. The election, that's Facebook's fault. Kids committing suicide, that's Facebook's fault. If we want to say that Facebook is partially responsible, maybe. If these things did not exist before Facebook, maybe we could say that. But that's not the case. All of these things existed previously. You had magazines, people on TV, commercials, society pushing the image of a smaller woman. This is what we're talking about. And if Facebook is a place where people see these things, Facebook isn't the only place. So I don't know why they get all the blame. Now, I'm not saying that Mark Zuckerberg is some angel, because he ain't. But nobody is. But the pressure is on. This ex-employee, disgruntled employee, a former employee, says that Facebook harms children, sows division, and undermines democracy in pursuit of breakneck growth and astronomical profits. Now, it can be harmful to children, but so can video games. So can other social network sites. So can TV. So can Netflix. So can HBO Plus. So can a number of things. So can Beyonce's Rihanna's fashion show. There's a number. Kim Kardashian. There's so many different things. Facebook is not the originator of these. That's like the same mindset of the people that just send their kids to school and don't do any reinforcement and want the teacher to do everything. And when there's something that goes wrong, they just blame the teacher. We all play a part in this. So yes, there does need to be some regulations, but this all-encompassing, bipartisan, Facebook is the devil. I'm just not buying that. I'm not giving them that much credit. That's an excuse. We can't, and there have been past controversies. Facebook's role in Russian attempts to influence the 2016 election, that was a real thing. They needed to tighten things up. The social networks lax handling of user data in the Cambridge Analytica case, that was troubling. There were cries about that. There was some internal reform that needed to take place in the company because of those situations and the way they were handled. But to say that, oh my God, Instagram is just making our kids, come on now, really? That's what we're going with? If it's not Facebook, it's going to be something else. The bigger focus is, how are you raising your children? And if something that they see on the phone is going to be so harmful to them, you're not doing anything but just shoving a phone in their face, pushing some food under their door, and you're not just paying attention or talking to them or doing anything. Some of this is on the parents as well. We can't just put everything is this guy's fault. Mark Zuckerberg is responsible for every bad thing that happens in society, every crackpot that gets elected. It's this guy's fault? No, I'm not buying that. And you got these senators that are up on Capitol Hill. They don't even understand how social media works. The words that are being thrown around, they don't even know what they are. It's kind of funny, but they're going to blame Facebook, right? So the fury that her revelations, this ex-employee, disgruntled employee, they come off different because she was an insider. She was somebody who was on the inside of Facebook for nearly 2 years. She worked at Google. She worked at Yelp. She worked at Pinterest. and she also worked at Facebook. So while she was at Facebook, she studied how the social network's algorithm amplified misinformation and was exploited by foreign adversaries. She's there trying to fix some of the things that are wrong. So she does have a unique perspective into how things are going. So she told Congress that Facebook consistently chose to maximize its growth rather than implement safeguards on its platform. They definitely want to maximize growth. But to have some of those senators sit up there that take money from big corporations who just want to maximize their growth, very interesting. Some of those senators have taken money from big tech, big tobacco, the NRA, but you're going to sit up there and talk about Facebook. If you want to hold Facebook accountable, but you don't hold the NRA accountable when kids kill people, kids, come on, it's disjointed. You're going to hold Facebook responsible for this stuff. You have to hold some of these other big corporations responsible, or else we're just wasting time. Otherwise, we're just wasting time. So she told Congress that Facebook consistently chose to maximize its growth rather than implement safeguards on its platform. And just as it hid from the public and the government officials internal research that illuminated the harms of Facebook's products. Well, she's trying to make it seem like it's a big tobacco or something, right? The result of the division did not originate at Facebook. We got to go deeper. We got to go deeper than the surface. But division, more harm, more lies, more threats, and more combat. That is true. Now, I'm not saying that some of these terrible ideas did not fester on Facebook, and things need to be put in place to stop the festering. But there's such a line there. Yes, there's some dangerous online talk. There is. But we had these things before Facebook. We had these things before Facebook. And whether Facebook can close down today, Instagram can close down today, and you still have other platforms, and there will still be other platforms to pop up in the place. So we got to go deeper. We got to go deeper than that. She said that during my time at Facebook, I came to realize a devastating truth, she said. Almost no one outside of Facebook knows what happens inside Facebook. Does anybody know what happens inside of McDonald's? Do we know the secret Big Mac sauce? Do we know how Chick-fil-A works on the inside? No. And these congressmen and women sitting up there, oh yes, we need to know what happens. We don't even know what happens inside of Congress. Democrats can't even agree on stuff. We don't even understand what happens inside of Congress. Well, we're supposed to know what happens inside of Facebook. The company, she says, intentionally hides vital information from the public, the U.S. government, and from governments around the world. Oh, this is the only company that does that? You want to pick on Facebook? There's a whole lot of people and a whole lot of companies that do the same damn thing. Yes, a deeper conversation is necessary. Your man Diamond K in here. The Diamond K Show is a Radio on Fire production. You can get the show on demand at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. And of course, the Diamond K Show is available on the WRF Radio app. Simply download WRF Radio in your app store. Leave me a comment You can scroll your timeline, attend a Zoom meeting on mute, send an email, do some online shopping, all while listening to the Diamond K Show. We're going to continue with this discussion about Facebook and if Facebook is really as bad as this ex-employee says. We're going to continue this discussion after this. The Diamond K Show is sponsored by Tasty Moscato. If you could pour sexy into a glass, this would be it. This smooth, seductive Moscato wine, blended with vanilla, takes your palate to a whole nother level of taste me. Unlike most, Tasty Moscato can be deliciously paired with a variety of meats, cheeses, veggies, as well as desserts. It's the sweet taste of luxury that you've been craving. Search Tasty Moscato on Facebook. And we are back. Your man, Diamond K, in here, of course. RadioOnFire.com, On Fire Television, the Diamond K Show. And we're talking about Facebook. We're talking about the controversy that Facebook is going through right now after a disgruntled ex-employee is bringing things out. So, so-called things out. She has definitely not, she's not the first ex-Facebook employee who has raised some concerns. All right, this is the world's largest social network. Two things separate her from previous disgruntled ex-Facebook employees. Two things. She is a compelling witness. She speaks with conviction. The specificity and the depth of what she is saying has definitely separated her. She also came armed with receipts, right? Receipts to, highlight what she's saying. Receipts to support her account of things. The thousands of pages of company documents that she stole lay bare to exactly what Facebook knew about its products. They should know things about their products. Now, we wanted them to get to the bottom of some things. We wanted them to fix some things. But we cannot blame this social network for all of our social ills. We can't do it. Now, Facebook has been coming back hard at this ex-employee, this disgruntled employee. She worked there for 2 years, right? Now, the time she was there, she knew that this stuff was happening, but she was taking Facebook's money for a long time. And all of a sudden, I can't believe this is happening. That's happening. What is her real motivation? I don't know. But Facebook executive told NPR Morning Edition that the company does not place profits over safety, citing that the social network's halting of political ads before the November presidential election. That is a fact. At Radio on Fire here, On Fire Television, we attempted to run political ads during the election season, and they were halted. They were not allowed during that time, and they did not allow us to run political ads till well into January. And that is a difference that I noticed, something different. It was something that was actually frustrating to me because when you have some of these rules that they have outlined, they may prevent some of the bad actors from doing things, but actual good actors, we were unable to do things as well. In a lengthy Facebook or blog post, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said that the company's internal research has been misrepresented. He did not obviously agree with what this former employee said. He said that it is disheartening to see that work taken out of context and used to construct a false narrative that we don't care. He also said that he was particularly focused on the questions raised about how Facebook's products affect children, writing that it's very important to me that everything we build is safe and good for kids. So obviously this debate is going to continue. Obviously, research can be dissected many ways. Research has shown that Facebook covets young users despite health concerns. I mean, video games. You know, kids like electronics. That's how we communicate. Text messaging, emails. That's how we communicate. Now, we have to take responsibility. Lawmakers are going to say this. Lawmakers are going to say that. They're going to talk about Instagram. They're going to talk about Facebook. They're going to say these things, and the lawmakers don't fully understand what's going on. This ex-employee, Francis, has leaked one Facebook study that found that 13.5% of UK teen girls in one survey said their suicidal thoughts became more frequent after starting on Instagram. So it did not say that Facebook caused the suicidal thoughts. It said that the suicidal thoughts became more frequent. So if a person is already suicidal and they're watching TV all the time, let's say that is what they chose to do, then what would it be? Then Netflix would be coming under fire, and some former Netflix employee would be like, "Oh my God, Netflix is the devil." Another leaked study found that 17% of teen girls say that their eating disorders got worse after using Facebook. We're going to blame Facebook for the eating disorders, showing them these things. The algorithm that many people don't understand, can't figure out how it works, that's going to be the cause. Not anything else. Facebook is definitely a company that prioritizes profit. What company does not? Show me what company does not. Half of these politicians prioritize profit over the well-being of their constituents. Most politicians prioritize their donors over their constituents. And yet we have these people in judgment of a big corporation who is no angel. I said this many times. Facebook's no angel. But how are they different from any other big corporation? How are they different from the politicians? Senator Blumenthal, the subcommittee chair, Democrat of Connecticut, said that Facebook has exploited teens using their powerful algorithms that amplify their insecurities. Blumenthal doesn't even know what he's talking about. So you mean to tell me we're going to put the algorithm, we're going to let Congress, who can't agree on fixing a road, we're going to put them in charge of the algorithm? Really? Oh, that's going to fix everything. The country literally is broken. We have roads that are cracked, bridges that are falling apart, and we're going to put Congress in charge of the algorithm for social media. Oh yeah, that's going to fix everything. Yeah, right. The Diamond K Show is sponsored by Flyers on Fire. If you need a flyer created, Flyers on Fire can design your quality digital flyer in 24 hours. Are you promoting something on social media? Flyers on Fire can help you brand your message with a quality flyer. Visit them on Instagram at Flyers on Fire. So we're talking about Facebook. They said that Facebook chooses to mislead and misdirect. Facebook has not earned our blind faith, the former employee says. And she, how many checks did she cash from Facebook? If Facebook is so dirty, her hands are not clean. Facebook responded to the research that shows that young people who use Instagram feel more connected to their peers and better about their well-being. This is what Facebook said. Facebook says that it was pausing work on an Instagram product tailored to kids under the age of 13. I don't think that is a good idea right now, especially in this climate. They definitely got to fall back on that. So Democrats and Republicans can't agree on anything. Can't agree on the debt. Can't agree on the debt ceiling. Can't agree on infrastructure. Can't agree on abortions. But they can agree that Democrats and Republicans can agree that they are in need of regulating Facebook. Now, they don't understand how it works. Most of them don't even know how to work it, but they think that they should be the ones regulating Facebook. One moment in the hearing, Republican senator from Kansas turned to Senator Blumenthal and said that they should put aside their partisan differences to tackle a common goal. Ringing in Facebook. So you're going to have some politicians running on, you remember how the one guy ran about he's going to lock up Bill Cosby? Somebody's going to run, I'm going to regulate Facebook. Vote for me. I'm going to control the algorithm. This sounds ridiculous. Okay? This sounds ridiculous. Now, we definitely want them to get some things in check. And there should be rules. But we cannot, one, turn a blind eye to the responsibilities of parents. Turn a blind eye to the ills of society and not blame them on Facebook, the algorithms that people don't understand. In other words, when a post receives comments, likes, or other interactions, it is spread more widely. That's not complicated. It's featured more prominently in feeds. Instead of just featuring posts in chronological order, posts are promoted, prioritized based on engagement. That's not complicated, and it makes sense. The engagement formula, it helps to sensationalize content. When you hear a car screech on the brakes, you wait. Even if you don't see it, you wait to hear if there's a crash. People gravitate towards negativity. That's something that we've got to fix in our world. We got to fix that, but that's not Facebook's fault. It's not Facebook's fault. The engagement, the algorithm, the formula that helps sensationalized content, posts that feature rage, hate, misinformation, negativity, tend to travel far and wide. Bad news travels fast. So they're saying we don't need to smarten people up. We just need to stop Facebook having the flow of information. Who's to say what information is right or wrong? There are books that are printed that have wrong information in it. It's up to you to know the difference. It's up to you to know the difference. This ex-Facebook employee, Frances Haugen, says that Facebook broke the law. What law? What law did they break? Her lawyers have filed 8 complaints with the Securities and Exchange Commission focused on Facebook's public statements about issues including what Facebook knew about how organizers of the January 6th Capitol siege used its platform. Now, they may have some issues there. But how effective was Facebook removing hate speech? How Instagram makes body image issues worse? Does Instagram make body issues worse? And if you say yes, that they do, is just showing the image of women automatically, is that just the culprit? Just because they've shown an image that made it worse? If something not intended to make you feel bad makes you feel bad, is it the person's fault who they unintentionally offended you? So they just can't do anything? They can't say anything? They can't take a picture? Can't do nothing because you're offended by it? We need to reevaluate why you're offended and what offends you and try to reprogram you to not be offended. You have beautiful women. Lil' Kim. So if there was Facebook back in the day, they would blame Lil' Kim's transformation on Facebook because she started out the beautiful brown-skinned Kim and now she is different than how she was before. And that's not Facebook's fault. Her transformation happened pre-Facebook. It was in her head. It's in her mind. But if Facebook was around, they would just blame Facebook and people on Capitol Hill talking about Facebook ruined Lil' Kim. No, they didn't. Lil' Kim didn't feel good about herself. So whether there was a Facebook or whether there wasn't a Facebook, Lil' Kim had those feelings. And anything that she saw, whether it was on a phone, which it wasn't because it was before that, but whatever she saw, it was in her mind. No social network, no TV show did that. That was something that was embedded in her mind because of her experiences, because of her upbringing, because of her life and people that were in her life. These same things are happening to teenagers, and we have to take responsibility for that and not try to pass off the culpability to somebody else. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Dom and K Show, at Radio on Fire. Of course, I will be back here tomorrow. You can get breaking news, adult conversations, covering topics that are important to the Black culture. Visit radioonfire.com for our original radio podcast and, of course, On Fire television programs. You want to support The Dom and K Show? Very easy to do that. I'm able to deliver our news and our views on The Dom and K Show because of our listeners, sponsors, and, of course, your donations. The Dom and K Show is powered by the people, and we need and love your support. Visit radioonfire.com to make a one-time donation or join the VIP club. Pick up some merch, like the Dom and K Show shirt. We have plenty other merch items there. Radioonfire.com. As I said, at the Dom and K Show, at Radio on Fire. I will be back here tomorrow.